So, welcome to the Wish You Were Beer podcast. This is like a pre-welcome. We had a couple of technical difficulties, so the video and the audio might be like slightly choppy. We're trying a new light setup and a new audio setup.
We have added studio lights to the setup. We do have a better audio now, except during the we're recording this after the podcast. During the podcast, the audio cut out a few times, so you might see some jumps there that normally wouldn't be in there, but we basically have to make do with what got recorded. It's not too bad. All the segments are in there. But just keep that in mind. Hopefully it won't happen next time. We'll be a lot better with the setup.
Right, and we'll have this all figured out by next week for the next podcast.
So hopefully you enjoy the better lighting, though.
Yeah. I mean, it looks a lot nicer.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Have fun.
Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wish You Were Beer podcast. I'm Mike.
Martin.
We're just two dudes who are weird, who
Mike.
also like weird beer.
Mike, what did you get tonight?
I got the snack tonight.
And I got the beer. I don't really know what we got because I went to Branching Out Bottle Shop and had the woman working just pick me out 6 beers. So it's kind of a little bit of surprise to both of us. I know a little bit about them, but not a whole lot. I didn't read the can. And we also want to start a new segment, but we need your help for that. We're actually going to do a sort of question write-in segment, but obviously we need people to write in questions.
Yeah, so you can message us on any of the social medias on
we're pretty
Twitter,
much everywhere.
Instagram,
You can
Facebook.
leave a comment on the YouTube video. You can message us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, any of those.
Yeah.
If you know us in real life, you can text us, whatever.
Right.
Maybe it might be something you want us to go over on Beers 101, maybe research something, or if you have a good topic idea, we can do that as well.
All right. Well, then let's get right into it,
Okay.
shall we? Get into the cooler here. Ooh. It's a pretty can of that.
Oh, yeah.
What do we got?
We have Insetto, a dry-hopped sour ale with Italian plum.
Ooh.
By Stillwater Arsenal.
Sounds
Artisanal. That's probably not going to show up. I have it on manual focus, so, but that's as good as it's going to get. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Let's see if I can find the ABV.
Where'd you say it was from?
Stillwater Artisanal. 5% alcohol content. I think this is going to be refreshing.
You think so?
I think so. And it's exactly what I need right now. Upstate New York is super hot right now.
It is
it's
very
kind
hot.
of stupid how hot it is. The leaves are even changing early.
I think it almost hit 90 today.
Yeah.
It was very
87 one time when it was.
And for
typically
late September.
it should be oh, you got way more than me. That's okay.
Oh, not bad.
It should be more like 65.
I got a lot ahead. Cheers.
Here's the beer number 1. That's very sour.
It's pretty sour.
It's refreshing though.
It is very refreshing.
Wow, that's very sour.
I'm not getting much plum though, and I know that's like a.
I think she told me there's not really a whole lot. I think there's another sour in there. I think too.
It is a little hoppy.
One of these, she said, there's not really any fluff to it, where it is just kind of sour and not really notes of anything else. And I was like, so is it just straight vinegar? And she said no, but that might be this one because there is not a lot to it. It is sort of a sour.
Yeah.
It is fruity though. It's like a sweet sour. It's not a completely hop sour.
Right. Yeah. So, we're going to launch right into my topic.
Yeah, we are.
And my topic I thought of today when I was at work because I sit on a mower all day and I push a painter all day. I just work for a local Parks and Recreation. And I mow lawns and park lawns and everything else like that. But I deal with this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me so mad all the time is bugs.
I hate bugs.
And bugs, so I'm the kind of person that, once I, hit the back of my neck and get a bug, I feel them all over me
Yep.
for like literally the rest of the
like
time.
your senses
that I'm
are
there.
heightened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like that just like it gets to me. I don't know, and I've never been more aggravated at something in my life. Like, cause like I'm a pretty mellow. I like to think of myself as a mellow person, but like I get so angry with bugs, and like I used like DEET like all over, and I still get them like zzz in my ear.
Yeah,
like whenever they just go right for your ear.
Yeah,
it makes
that's
me
the worst.
so
And you hear
mad.
the buzzing, and then
Yeah.
like you wonder if you got it. Like, did I get it, or did it crawl inside my ear? And now it's gonna lay eggs. You know, a girl that we went to like elementary school, middle school, and high school with together. In elementary school, she had a spider lay eggs in her ear.
Huh.
I'll tell you who it is after the show.
Yeah, let's not. we
don't
won't say
wanna give out
anything
any
about
names.
that poor girl.
But yeah, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not like scared of bugs or anything. Like if a spider's in here, I can kill the spider. I'm not gonna freak out.
Oh yeah, like I'm the designated spider killer
Yeah.
in my relationship, and
Me too.
of course. It's also stink bug season.
Yeah,
You've been seeing a lot of those.
I've been seeing a lot of stink bugs.
I was driving up to class today, and a stink bug just like flittered right onto my shoulder, and
You can't kill those.
No, you can't. And so I drove with it. Luckily, they're harmless.
Mm-hmm.
I drove with it on my arm. It crawled down my shoulder. Crawled all over, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Drove all the way to class. It's not a far drive, maybe like 10 minutes. And then I got out of the car and flicked it off. Like, man, come on. Like, why?
All right.
Sorry, we had some slight.
Some audio difficulties, no big deal. Where
Just
were
cut
we?
all that stuff out, whatever. And so,
Bugs.
anyways, what I was saying was that I hate it when a bug like flies up in your face,
Yeah.
and then you like go to smack it away, and it dodges you, but then gets right back up in
Yes.
your face.
Oh my gosh. I've always wondered how, like, I've done some like absolute like crazy slaps on bugs, like just smack them out of the air, and then they come right back. They're buzzing around. And I'm like, holy cow! Like your wings are like so fragile. Like, how are you still buzzing around after I just smacked you out of the air?
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I was gonna say something else too. This is a good beer.
Yeah, it is very good. I was driving, and a white-faced hornet flew in through
Oh,
the side
no.
and landed right on my shoulder, and I knew it was big too. Like I knew it was big. I didn't know what it was at the time, and I was like, something is on my shoulder. So I like went to go reach, and right when I grabbed it, it stung me.
Oh my god.
So my shoulder like swelled up really bad for
When
a
was
little
this?
while. It was last year.
Okay.
Almost about it. It was probably about a year ago at this point.
I've only been stung by a bee once,
Yeah.
and luckily I was too young to remember it.
Dude, you do not want to get stung by a hornet.
Oh,
That was
God, no.
bad.
Yeah, luckily I haven't been. Just smack those bees out of the sky.
Oh yeah.
You remember those, like, so we had this like Fisher Price swing set that like, and because it was all like plastic molded and stuff, there were like holes in it so that like water can leak out, stuff like that. Of course, and they're like hollow inside. Of course, what happened was a bunch of bees thought it would be really cool to make a beehive inside this molded plastic seat on the swing set.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I'm a baby. My parents put me on a swing set. A bee stings me on my ass. Only time I've been stung, so I'm happy for that. What's your least favorite bug?
I think I have to go with bees.
Really?
I think they're just jerks. Like, I don't mind, like, the bumblebees, but, like, the ones that'll go over and sting you and stuff. Because, like, those are the kind of bugs that'll, like, get in your face, and, like, once you go to, like, to hit them away, they'll, like, fly back around, but then they'll come back at you.
Yeah.
And they're, like, they just don't leave
That's
you
true.
alone. So,
I've never really minded bees, and I think it's because my parents have always maintained a very nice garden at our house. We have like 3 different gardens around our yard. It's crazy, and those have always been swarmed by bees, whether it's like hornets or like bumblebees. And I just always used to play around them, and none of them ever bothered me. Like there's probably literally like 100 bees in my backyard right now, probably just chilling. Well, it's nighttime now, but Just chilling, having a good time, pollinating, and never bothered me once. And mow the lawn back there, even with the lawnmower going, they never bother me. So I don't mind bees all that much.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite's got to be spiders.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like a bee sting will like hurt, but that's all it does. It just hurts. A spider will just straight up mess you up, like without you knowing. It'll crawl up your leg and bite you. Oh, actually, I just remembered spiders are not my least favorite bug. I just remembered I got bit in like April this past spring by a tick.
Your ticks are awful.
Totally forgot I got bit by a tick.
Was it like in you, or did you just get bit by it?
It's in me.
Ugh,
It latched on, but
I
luckily
hate that.
it must have. Me and my girlfriend went for a hike the day before, and then the day after, that morning she found the tick on my.
Oh, that's not bad then.
No, so it was only on probably like overnight, but yeah, it was latched on. It was pretty tiny, but like, man, we were like worried and everything. Like,
Did you save the tick?
No. Well, I didn't because did a bunch of research. Trisha went to the store to get like those tweezer things that are made for getting ticks off. And
I don't think we're in a Lyme area.
no, she is though.
Oh, is she?
Jessica's got it pretty bad. And I was doing a bunch of research while she ran out to get those, and apparently saving the tick, not all that important.
Yeah, because I think they take blood or something anyways, right?
Well, if you just go to the doctor and say you got bit by a tick,
They give you medicine.
they'll draw blood and give you medicine, and they'll
That's
test
right.
your blood. If you bring a tick to some testing service to get tested for Lyme disease, this is now the Tick and Lyme Disease podcast. One, I guess it takes a really long time to test it for Lyme disease. And so you'll usually find out if you have Lyme disease or not before the results for the tick come back. So, second, even if the tick does have Lyme disease, doesn't mean you got it, because
Right.
it takes over 24 hours to transmit it
Right.
into your body. Found out a bunch of cool stuff. Still hate ticks.
Yeah.
So we just didn't bother. We waited to see how I felt. Ended up feeling fine because the tick was on me for honestly probably like 12 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, not such a big deal.
Cool. Well, we will continue this topic after we start another beer. Alright, we're going to move on to our next beer here, which is Rock Brewing Co.'s Sassy Pants Ale.
Oh wow, that's a good name.
5.8% alcohol. Belgian-style saison fermented with tropical fruit, finished with fresh jalapenos. So jalapenos.
Oh, okay. I was wondering jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
I have no idea what jalapenos are.
So this has got a lot going on here.
This was, I think, the most interesting one she picked out. She told me it was fruit and jalapeno, and was intrigued.
Oh.
Mike and I have had our fair share of jalapeno beers, but they're usually like sort of Mexican in nature with like cocoa and coffee.
I might have taken more of that one again.
No worries. I have to drive home.
Didn't we
and
have a
so-
rock last time? Rock
Don't
Brewing
remember.
Company?
Maybe?
I think so. We'll have to check the pictures. Anyways. Oh,
What do we smell like?
it smells kind of
interesting.
jalapeno-y.
Yeah, kind of. There's the can there. It's just a nice,
Set it
simple
on the
design.
side there. Alright, let's give this a shot.
Beer number 2.
Oh my god, the smell is throwing me off.
It is spicy, but it's kind of counteracted really well.
There's a lot
It's not
going on
spicy
there.
for long.
There is a lot going on there. The
You
smell
know-
just puts me off.
You got stuff like the...
It just smells like jalapeno and beer to me.
Yeah. But the taste, there is a lot of fruit in the taste.
Yeah,
You know,
there is.
You have things like the Cuca Habanero Ale, which makes an awesome beer cheese. We have proven that. And that is just like straight fire
Right.
in beer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like pouring hot lava in beer in your mouth. This is like hot for a split second, and then the fruit kicks
It's got the
in. And then
jalapeno
it's good.
taste.
Yep, and the smell. And then like...
But it's not super hot.
It's hot long enough to get that taste, but it's not hot
Right.
like it's going to burn your tongue.
Oh. It's
That's-
interesting. I'm not sure if
I'm enjoying it.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if I like it a whole lot. Like it's nice, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think I just gotta keep drinking it.
All right. I'm enjoying it a whole lot. Like, Cuca Habanero, Habanero Sculpin by, who's that there?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the habanero skulkin by Ballast Point.
Ballast Point. Nice
Yeah.
job. Those two are awesome cooking beers, but, man, very hard to drink.
Yeah.
I got through both of them once just because I wanted to try them, and then I said I'm never going to drink one of these
I
straight
almost
again.
feel this in my upper chest a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah?
You feel the heat a little bit right up here.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, a little bit. But this is actually sort of refreshing.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
No, you are getting a little bit of the fruit
Mm-hmm.
in there.
All right, Mike, do you want to get back to talking about bugs?
Yeah. As soon as the dog stops barking.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, it'll be okay. Yeah. So you were saying that, you know, spiders were like your least favorite, and then we went on to ticks and everything. But the thing about spiders with me is that, like, whenever I see a spider in the house or like any kind of bug that's in the house, I'm always like, I've eaten that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing that goes through my head is that, like, that has been consumed by me at least
Probably.
once. Because, like, you consume, like, how many bugs per night or something?
Oh, that's a
I'll
made
have to
up
look
fact.
that up. Really?
Yeah, that's actually one of the, like, first memes ever.
Really?
Yeah, I think a woman on, like, when the internet first started, a woman in, like, the 90s said that, and, like, to see how fast it would spread.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, then I fell for it.
Yeah, me too. So that's fair.
But anyways, that's the first thing, like, because that thing probably crawls in my mouth or whatever, but that's the first thing that runs through my head.
Now, what is not a lie is, you probably have eaten spiders, not because they crawl into your mouth at night, but because they are in your food.
I have seen that.
Because there is, like,
Like canned tomatoes or something have...
Yeah. Basically anything canned. There's like an FDA, there's like a threshold
that the FDA allows
of like parts of bugs and critters
Wow.
in your food. So like canned soup, canned anything really is probably going to have like a spider leg in it, but it's like below the amount that the FDA...
I'm sure it's like some ridiculously low percentage.
Yeah, it is, but you've probably eaten a
Right.
whole spider.
Right. Well, probably more than that.
Yeah.
But because I do go like tuna fish all the time, but
Oh, okay.
and I like canned soup. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, yeah, I think that's that's the first thing that always runs through my mind is like
Yeah.
I've probably eaten.
No,
that or
I get
something.
that too. You know what? The other thing bugs do that I hate the most is how they gather around lights.
Yeah.
Or like, we
Yeah.
have at my house we have a light above our door, right? That's on at night when people are coming home late and stuff like that. And if you come home after dark and that light is on, you have to like fight 1,000 bugs to get into your door because they're all just flying around the door because the light is really bright above it. It sucks. And then like you open the door and you like let 500 bugs in.
Oh no.
And you gotta shut it really quick.
Well,
It's
that's
the worst. It's the worst.
I teach the marching band at the school,
Mhm.
and whenever we're out at night or something, and those lights come on, and you look up at those lights
yeah, they're probably
that are for the
disgusting.
stadium, it's like sometimes they're clear, but sometimes there's like bugs flying all over the place.
I can imagine when if I'm up late doing something, editing, whatever, and I have my window open and my lights are on, but it's dark outside, I get bugs like smacking against the window because of the light, because they want to swarm around the light. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
Mike, are you almost done with this?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think you're gonna?
I don't know.
finish it?
I don't think I'm gonna finish this. Like,
Okay.
because I
Not
don't
yet?
mind it. It's not my favorite though. It's just
Okay.
because I don't know. It's just the tastes are conflicting to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind the habanero or the jalapeno,
Mm-hmm.
but like, yeah, I don't know. Like, the tastes are just conflicting to me.
Okay, that's fair. I'm towards the bottom, and it's like a lot spicier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll finish this up and then we'll head on to the next beer.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back. As soon as I readjust myself.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna move on to our third beer, right?
Was that 3? Is that really only 3?
Yeah, we're on our third one.
Nice. All right.
All right, we're gonna go into this Plum Goes. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Got a Plum Goes here. Ale brewed with Italian plums. Who would have thought? Soured in their tanker truck. Wow. So do you think like it sours while they transport it?
Maybe.
On this can it says soured in our tanker truck, and then there's a picture of a truck
Huh.
that says
Moving.
souring in progress. So I wonder if like it sours during transport. That would be
Maybe.
very interesting.
That would be cool.
We got the description is 2 Roads is driving a tanker truck down a road less traveled with this Plum Goes, pronounced Goza. Whoops. We kettle soured this ale in our own tanker truck trailer, a former milk tanker like the one on the front label, that's parked right on the grounds of our brewery. That's pretty cool. Expect a classic Goza sour and salty interplay with the unmistakable character of tart Italian plums. Pinkish in color and decidedly refreshing. Have you ever seen a pink beer?
No.
I've seen a red beer.
No, I think I have seen a pink. No.
Yeah, we probably have. All right.
I can't remember.
Are you ready? Oh,
I've seen so many different kinds of beers.
I know. They all merge.
Probably
together.
light it's a Goza.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I can't get
4.5%.
the Goza.
Right on the money. I'm gonna take more of it than you this time.
The Plum Goza.
Wow, that is pink.
It is pretty pink. Oh, this is a...
It's very pink. Can you see that? Are the lights lighting it up correctly? We have new lights this episode.
We
It's
do!
pretty awesome. Going up in production quality.
Yeah,
That's
there's
always a
still
good thing.
more in there.
Right.
Quite a bit more, actually, if we want to split it up. Oh.
Quite a bit more. Well,
All right. Cheers to beer number 3.
beer number 3. The foam is even.
It smells very plummy.
Yeah, it does. Very sweet. That's okay.
I would drink this.
I would drink it too.
Like right off the
Yeah.
bat, it's sweet, but also like tart enough to get
Yeah.
like the... Yeah.
It is tart. It's
Let's put this...
Oops. It's not sour, I think, as like your traditional sour beer. A sour beer is sort of made up of like a vinegary taste, but this is more tart, like a ripe plum,
Yeah.
where like it's a quick kind of little thing. Where a sour beer is like
It
sticks on
punches
your
you right
tongue.
in the back,
Yeah.
and then it's gone.
It stays in your kind of jaw.
This is good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well this is going to go with our snack accident waiting to happen, but...
Yeah, that's very true.
So I picked up the snack for today,
Okay.
and I went to the store, and I love, like, the apple caramels, like the apple where there's caramels.
Yeah.
And this was sitting right next to it, and it's like a fall type thing.
So is this the hard candy or is it
This is a soft caramel.
Oh, okay. I thought this was a hard candy.
Well, they started making softs, like, a year or two ago or something.
Okay.
And yeah, so the apple one's a soft one too, but they have a limited edition pumpkin spice soft caramel. It's I immediately saw it and I was like, I don't know how I feel about pumpkin and caramel.
I'm sure it'll be awesome.
I'm sure it'll be great too, but
I got some beer in my glasses.
yeah, let me move this out of the way of the
Sure.
microphone to open it. So these are all little individually wrapped.
Alright.
What your grandma would get you, but soft.
I always get Werther's mixed up with Pepperidge Farm. I think
Yeah?
because I think they both appeal to like old people. You know that meme, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the same could be said for Werther's original. Like Werther's original remembers.
Dude, this is good.
Haven't gotten any taste yet. I'm tasting caramel.
Just wait. You're not getting any?
I just tasted caramel.
I got a whole lot of pumpkin spice.
Maybe I'm getting a little bit now.
Because my original bite was like nothing but caramel, and I was like, But then as I ate it, I was like, it's pretty pumpkin-y.
Maybe because my palate is so messed up right now. But like, yeah, no. I'm gonna take a small bite, see what happens, instead of sticking the whole thing in my mouth.
I'm getting some pumpkin spice. Got like a hint of cinnamon in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still just getting caramel.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm getting a pretty good amount of pumpkin spice. Just goes to show that every mouth is different, and everything we like here, or don't like here, does not necessarily mean that.
Nothing.
You're only getting caramel?
Yeah, like I'm used to like Starbucks pumpkin spice, and that is like really like punch you in the face pumpkin spice.
Right.
Or even,
I thought this was really good. I thought it was very, very pumpkin spicy.
Okay. Or even like the pumpkin cream ale that we had last episode. Like, I feel like that has even more pumpkin spice.
Have an apple one.
All right.
I've got the apple ones too, but I didn't want to bring those onto the.
All right. How do you think this is gonna go?
These are.
Oh, this I can already smell that.
Mm-hmm. These are appley.
Yep. Yeah. These are way more appley than those are pumpkin spice. Maybe because pumpkin spice blends in with caramel better.
You know, maybe. I feel like I was getting a lot of pumpkin spice there.
Yeah. I feel like pumpkin spice and caramel are sort of pretty close flavors. Or they're both kind of salty, sweet flavors. Whereas this one, like, sweet apple flavor.
Mm-hmm.
This tastes like a caramel apple. Like stripping.
Yeah. I do like these a lot, though. I'm keeping these.
I think I prefer the apple ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are awesome. You know what would be cool to do with these? Just take one and spread them around an apple and you got a caramel apple. You don't have to dunk it in apple. Or caramel.
Or melt it and dump the cat and look at the apple and the caramel.
Nah, just spread it around.
I'm getting more pumpkin out of this after having the apple.
Jeez, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. I wish I could taste.
I'll have to toss Eric one of these.
Alright. That was this episode's accident waiting to happen.
That's our accident.
Ugh.
Talk a little about this beer because I like this.
Oh yeah. I like it a lot. I'm happy with this.
I think it's the perfect balance between sweet and tart.
I think so too. There are some.
Look at that pink color. Let's see if you can see that.
Yeah, the color is awesome. The foam is even pink. The head is even pink.
Yeah.
There are some beers that are just way too sweet that tastes like Smarties crushed into soda.
Right.
And they call it like a beer. And like.
I don't really care for those.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know. I just like. I like sweet stuff, but I feel like with beer sometimes you can go too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look up what my recommendation is.
Oh, for tonight? Yeah. Or later.
Because I just have to get the brewery. But anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't thought of that yet either.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to that. But yeah, it's just. Who made this again?
I can't tell you.
I think Tank and Two Roads.
Two Roads, okay.
Two Roads Tanker Truck Sour Series.
Yeah, so they must sour it during delivery. That is awesome.
That is really cool. It says
I'm
soured
impressed.
in our tanker truck. It shows the truck moving. It says souring process on it.
That is really awesome.
That is cool.
Never heard of that
They're in Stratford, Connecticut.
Wow, that's really close.
Yeah.
Huh.
It is pronounced goza. I can't get over that because we always call them gozes.
Yeah. I feel like the bartenders even call them gozes.
Yeah.
All right. Mike, I know we got a little bit of this left, but do you think you're ready for beer number 4?
We'll finish these up and we'll be right back for the next beer.
All right, Mike, what's next?
Okay, we're gonna go into the stout land.
Oh, yeah? Beer number
Yeah.
4.
It's called Round the Clock from, I want to say that's Low, Lough, Low Gill
Logill? Yeah.
Brewing Company.
Sure.
5.2%. It's a breakfast stout, flavored breakfast stout called Round the Clock. Let me see if there's a. There's a little long description.
That one out before, was it obvious you chewed it and everything? Didn't he swallow one before a bag?
This is all going in there.
No.
Do you want to restart this?
No,
section?
it's okay. We can cut it out.
Okay.
We're not that far in, and it's not.
Okay.
Okay, so this says it's never too early for beer. That's why we brewed the flavored breakfast stout.
Hold on. Can you, like, turn so you're talking into the mic?
This says it's never too early for beer. That's why we've brewed a flavored coffee stout. Oatmeal is an important part of a balanced breakfast. So we sourced some oats and the family-owned Irish company Flavahans.
Okay.
Oh, oats from the family-owned Irish company Flavahans.
Flavahans.
I think that's how it is said.
Okay. I trust you.
And since we can't just live without coffee, we found a deep, dark, delicious one and added it to our brew. The result is a black, intensely coffee-flavored stout that is too good to limit to any one time of the day. We're drinking it round the clock, no matter which way the clock is going round. Craft brewed in our independent brewery in Sligo. Let's just have a...
Does it say where it is?
I'm trying to find out.
Right. They had a bunch of this.
Sligo,
breweries
Ireland.
here. That's interesting.
It's from Ireland.
They had a whole selection of this brewery's beer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, at the bottle shop.
The Low Hill?
Logill? Left
Low Gill.
Logill, Leftgill.
Love Gill. I don't
I
know.
don't know. It might be one of those. Might also be Stella Artois.
Oh my god. That is dark. Look at that.
That is dark. Hold it up. Yeah. That's not shining anything.
I cannot see through that at all.
That's...
Oh, you got a little foamy.
It's possibly the worst
this
pour I've
isn't,
ever
This
done.
isn't the nitro.
I promise I pour a lot better than that usually. Wow. That sucks.
I love it. Oh my god.
Oh my
All
god.
right, well,
I'm gonna
cheers.
be going through so much foam. So much had to get there.
That's a breakfast stout.
Oh, I can taste it in the.
That's a
in the head.
breakfast stout.
I'm getting more coffee than oatmeal.
Me too. The thing about breakfast stouts is that usually they're too heavy for me, and this doesn't taste
Yeah?
that heavy.
Oh, I love breakfast stouts.
Because I always feel like
Like-
with the oatmeal, they're like really heavy,
Yeah.
and this doesn't seem that heavy.
Well, I haven't gotten to the actual beer yet. I'll give you my opinion in like 5 minutes.
See if you can get down to real beer. You're almost there.
I got some there. I think this is like the heaviest one I've had.
Really?
Yeah. I think most oatmeal stouts I've had are like something you. Well, this is going to
It is
sound really
smooth.
bad because you shouldn't drink beer in the morning. But I feel like most breakfast stouts I've had like could be had in the morning.
Around the clock.
Um,
There.
where like the other ones I've had are sort of light and fluffy and have this oatmeal taste with maybe a little bit of coffee. This I'm getting like With this, I feel like this is more just like a coffee stout, like a heavy coffee stout. You could have in like the winter.
And maybe that's why I think it's not as heavy. It's because I'm not getting as much oatmeal.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there really isn't that much oatmeal. I'm getting a lot of coffee and a lot of
Because I've had
chocolate.
some like heavy oatmeal-y stouts. Founders has that breakfast
Yeah.
stout. That one's heavy.
I love a good breakfast stout.
Oh, I do too.
Luckily,
This is
now
good.
and later,
Oh,
typically
this might
has
be
some
it.
breakfast stouts on tap.
So like stouts were like my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after I turned 21, when you and I started going to Now and Later, the only thing I got was stouts,
Yeah,
and it was like
because I think
it was like
they're
late
also-
summer. It was like this time of the year.
I think people do the coolest things with stouts.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the like crazy weird beers we've had. Well, like there's sours, but that's like a whole genre that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But typically when someone does something really weird with a beer, it's usually a stout. Sometimes it's an ale. But you know, cookie dough beer, the Ben & Jerry's cookie dough beer, like was a stout, right?
That was an ale.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was light. It was.
We can look it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an ale.
Mike, are you ready for Beers 101?
I believe so.
All right. Today, we're going to tell you about how beer is made. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process and the steps. Yeah. All right. Let's get in there.
I might learn something here because I'm not 100%.
I'm going to learn something here as
Yeah.
well. So, first step, gathering the ingredients. Of course, the main ingredients are going to be barley, hops, water, and yeast. That's what makes beer. It's the combination of those, and having more of one thing, less of one thing is what gives it a certain flavor. Then also, of course, you add other things in there too. Like if you want to make a blueberry beer, obviously you add blueberries. The first step after you get your ingredients is malting. So I'm going to read this here. The brewing process starts with grains, usually barley, although sometimes wheat, rye, or other such things. The grains are harvested and processed through a process of heating, drying out, and cracking. The main goal of malting is to isolate the enzymes needed for brewing so that it's ready for the next step. So you're sort of just preparing all the ingredients to be turned into beer. Step 2, mashing. The grains then go through a process known as mashing, in which they are steeped in hot, but not boiling, water for about an hour, sort of like making tea. This activates enzymes in the grains that cause it to break down and release its sugars. Once this is all done, you drain the water from the mash, which is now full of sugar from the grains. The sticky sweet liquid is called wort. Oh, I've heard of that before. W-O-R-T? Yeah, wort. I think we've probably encountered that in like our really nerdy video games we play. It's basically unmade beer, sort of like how dough is unmade bread. Oh, that's very interesting.
Huh.
And so it's like kind of like a mat. Well, they said it's like a mash.
beer.
Yeah. Third step is boiling.
Sorry.
The wort is boiled for about an hour while hops and other spices are added several times. Hops are the small green cone-like fruit of a vine plant. All right. They provide bitterness to balance out all the sugar in the wort and provide flavor. They also act as a natural preservative, which is what they were first used for. It's very interesting. So, obviously, if you've probably heard when someone speaks about the taste of a beer, you've probably heard them say it's hoppy. That's like more of a bitter taste. So, like, the more hops you add, the more hoppy the taste is, the more bitter it is. And the hops is to counteract the sugar that is sort of generated by the mashing process. So there's a ton of sugar sitting in this mash because it's kind of made by the chemical process, and then you add the hops to counteract that, and then sometimes they add a lot more hops to make it sort of a hoppy beer. Fourth step is fermentation. Once the hour-long boil is over, the wort is cooled, strained, and filtered. Because remember, it's like a mash. It's like sediment, sort of. It's then put in a fermenting vessel, and yeast is added to it. At this point, the brewing is complete and the fermentation begins. The beer is stored for a couple of weeks at room temperature, or many, many weeks at cold temperatures, and the duration that it's stored at and the temperature it's stored at sort of determines what kind of beer it is. So, like for instance, when a beer is stored for a couple weeks at room temperature, that will sort of make it an ale. That's how the bacteria sort of forms inside the beer. It gives it its taste. Or many weeks at cold temperatures, that would give you a lager. While the yeast works its fermentation magic. Basically, the yeast eats up all that sugar in the wort and spits out carbon dioxide and alcohol as waste products. That's what gets you drunk.
Huh.
I
know alcohol gets you drunk, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Step 5. This is kind of the finishing step, not so much the step that what was the finishing step? You've now got alcoholic beer. Oh, should mention step 5 is bottling and aging. So you've got your beer, however it is still flat and uncarbonated. The flat beer is bottled, at which time it is either artificially carbonated like a soda, or if it's going to be bottle conditioned, it's allowed to naturally carbonate via the CO2 the yeast produces. So in the last step we learned that as the
yeast ferments.
It releases CO2 and alcohol. So while it's bottled, that yeast is going to keep producing CO2, which is going to naturally carbonate the beer. You can also do it more like a soda, where it's like forcefully carbonated through the process.
No, so my question is how does a stout become a stout?
I don't know that, Michael.
Well, that's something we're gonna have to figure out some other time.
Catch it next time on Wish You Were Beer. After allowing it to age for anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, drink the beer, and it's delicious. So I imagine, so we learned in the 4th step, during fermentation, the temperature and duration that the beer is stored for determines kind of what kind of beer it is.
Whether it's an ale or a lager or...
Yeah, but I think then a stout, ale is more of a generic term is more like an umbrella term for a bunch of different styles of beer, and so is lager. So stout, I don't know if stout goes under lager or ale.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm sure the ingredients are all different too, because a lot of breakfast stouts use oatmeal, which I'm sure replaces like in the first step there when it said it uses some other kind of wheat or whatnot there. And oatmeal, I think is that replacement there. Yeah, I could be wrong, but
well, and then the last sour beer we had, the one that was soured in transportation in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably part of the fermentation process, or the
right.
They kind of include that in their bottling process because the bottling and the fermentation process sort of merge together. It seems, where the fermentation finishes sort of in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that the beer that we had, the fermentation process finishes in the truck. So maybe they drive it around for a few months.
Maybe.
Yeah, instead of just delivering it, they drive it around, give it a ride.
I also wonder with that one is whether or not it's so they're Italian plums, was it?
Yeah.
So maybe it comes from the plums. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
So if they're transporting the plums, maybe that happens.
Mm-hmm. I imagine when all those extra ingredients go in, is probably the same time the hops go in.
Mm-hmm.
I did take a brewery tour, but I don't remember them saying anything about it. I think they
we should go there and
we probably
ask them about we should drive in that truck.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
Let's go just swimming in it.
Yeah.
It's going to the tank. And that was brought to you by an awesome website. That was blog.beeriety.com. That's blog.beeriety.com.
Huh.
Yep, pretty awesome article about how beer is made. And of course, that's a very top-down view of how beer is made. There's a lot more that goes into it. And of course, every beer is going to be different.
Right.
We've tried some pretty crazy beers. I can't even begin to imagine what the process for those is like. all the different things they add into it and everything.
Yeah.
All right, that was this week's Beers 101. I hope you learned something, and we'll get back to you with beer number 5 in just a second. All right, Michael, what beer is next? Beer number 5.
Oh my god. So, you said that person at
Oh yeah, the woman, I should really learn her name. But the woman at Branching Out Battle Shop said she gave me 2 breakfast stouts, and she told me these 2 are very good. She said she imagined they'd be good for a podcast because they're very good to compare to each other.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure what that means.
So
Maybe
we'll have to keep the other
maybe
one in
they're
mind.
gonna be sort of very different breakfast stouts. I imagine that's what she means.
like
But yeah,
to tell us
we'll have to keep that in mind. This is by Warhorse Brewing Company from Finger Lakes, New York, which is pretty near to us, actually.
Mhm.
It's a nitro, so we might spill a lot while we pour it.
No.
And this is called Breakfast with Churchill, which is pretty awesome. And it does have
Got
Winston
Winston Churchill
Churchill
on it.
on the front.
Here, let me get this out of the
With
way.
some more planes around it. Oatmeal coffee stout. I'm going to read the description to you. You don't lead England through World War II and get named the greatest Briton of all time without making the absolute most of every day. For the old man, that meant starting with breakfast where he would eat, drink, smoke, dictate speeches, read 8 newspapers, and hold his morning meeting. Our oatmeal stout is full of roasty smooth dark chocolate notes and balanced bitterness. With the addition of freshly roasted Colombian coffee from our good friends at Glen, Edith, and Rochester, also very close to us. It's a perfect start or finish to your day, like a typical breakfast stout. So 7.5% alcohol.
Nice.
Getting up there a little bit.
Yeah.
Brewed and bottled in Geneva, New York, which is about 45 minutes from us, west from us. It's pretty awesome. All right, let's get into it.
Cool. It's a nitro, so we gotta pour it like you did last time.
You're better pouring nitros.
I am.
Yep.
Are we gonna
Oh,
get
look at
yours?
that. Yep. Please do mine. So nitros, if you don't know, nitros
The
are
rolling effect going down like that. I don't know if you can see it.
sort of like a Guinness. It's very creamy. Nitros actually have like some sort of cream in it. And so normally with a beer, you want to pour it sort of gingerly, and like you want to get that perfect head on
The
it.
rolling effect is awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, you want to pour it like, what is it, like 45 degree on the
Mhm.
cup.
Yeah. So you want just a good enough head. You don't, well, like basically my last pour. Like you don't want a lot of head, so you want to pour it very slowly. But with nitros, with the cream aspect in it, I think you do want to agitate it a lot, so it's more of a violent pour.
Yeah.
And Michael is definitely better at that than I am.
It's because I had that one time of practice when we were at
Yeah, I
World
know.
of Beer, and I
Or
just
now World of Beer.
it was at World of Beer when I poured it,
Oh,
and
and
it
you
went
made a
all
mess
over
of
the
yourself.
place. But I got
But then it was our buddy at Now,
I got-
who told us that
yes,
you need to
yes.
pour it violently. Okay.
But that's when that was my first time pouring it, where we went to World of Beer and I got the milk stout nitro from Left Hand Brewing,
And it was so
and
funny.
I just
Mike-
went boom.
Mike was like, I got this. And of course he just like,
Because like I knew how to do it. Like I watched him do it. I was like, I
Yeah.
can do that.
he just so fast just like poured it. And
Yeah.
it's coming out. But of course he made a mess all over the place with it.
Yeah.
Man, it was so
Because
fun.
it went all over the place. This is creamy.
Beer number 5. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is strong. I like it, though. I like it better than the last one. That's very strong.
I'm very critical of my stouts.
I think
I like it a lot.
It's
I
very
do.
strong, but I think it's lighter than the last one.
It's very, very smooth.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
from
a
the nitro.
is.
And it's like the perfect balance of like chocolate and coffee.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I can taste
And I
the
know
oatmeal
I
in
use
this
the
one,
term perfect balance a lot, but like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we've been hitting the spot here.
Ooh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying this one. So in this one, like the oatmeal definitely takes a background role in the rest of it.
Does this have oatmeal?
It's a breakfast stout, so I imagine it does.
Oh yeah, our oatmeal stout. Yeah. I wasn't hanging.
It definitely takes the background role to this, but like it's there. Like I taste it. In the last one, I did not taste oatmeal whatsoever. I just tasted coffee. Like it might as well have been a coffee stout. In this, I taste the oatmeal. The coffee is very strong. The chocolate is very strong, but you still get the oatmeal.
Right.
You definitely get it.
Yeah.
And I think it's helped by the nitro. I think the nitro.
This is a good one to keep in mind.
Yeah, I love this. Like,
Yeah, I do too.
I hope Now and Later has it because I'm going to be drink.
Oh.
It's behind the cup. You didn't see it. I just spilled a little bit. I think the nitro definitely helps exaggerate the oatmeal taste in the background. And the
I just like nitros. They're just
they're so good.
smoothness.
They're
of
so
it.
good. If you have not tried a nitro stout, you need to. I suggest starting with the milk, the left-hand milk.
Left-hand milk stout.
All right, listeners. I'm really sorry, but we lost a bunch there. We've tried to make the production quality a lot better on this episode, and we're running into some issues.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're gonna get into my topic, and we're gonna talk about the new iPhone X that Apple revealed last week sometime. But not only the iPhone X, I want to talk about sort of the cult of Apple and why that exists. Like, why is Apple the only company that has like this cult about it? You don't see that with like Android. You don't see that with Microsoft or like PCs. But with Apple, you know, there's sort of this like someone who only uses Apple products.
Right.
I want to talk about maybe why that is, how they got to be that way. So I'd like to see what you think, Mike.
So I've been an Apple user like recently, like. So I have an iPad, which I got after I got my my second first iPhone. I've got an iPad, I've got the Apple TV, and I have an iPhone. And I just like the fact that they all communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Like, so like if I'm looking at something on my phone and I want to show you, and the Apple TV was like right down here on this TV here, I can just be like, Martin, check this out. And I would put it to the Apple TV and it would show the whole thing. It would show my screen at that time.
So like, you think sort of how the ecosystem works very well together.
Right.
That like if you have an iPhone, then you're more.
We're good. I was just checking.
Then you're more like apt to buy an Apple TV or an
I
iMac,
think so.
and because like you have things like
Because
AirDrop
of like the communication.
and- yeah, the communication. Okay.
That and the fact that I think in general, and I'm not saying like, you know, after you get used to it and whatever. I think in general Apple products are easier to use.
Really?
I like genuinely feel like that. But that's just an in general thing. Like if I had an Android and I got used to the operating system, I would say that I would be handy with it. But the moment I got an iPhone, I knew exactly what was going on, which I feel like plays into a lot of not like older generation, but I'm feeling like upper 30s nowadays. It's like sort of like at the tail end of the technological revelation or whatever it is, where they're not
internet.
super technologically savvy, but like they know what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
Where something like an iPhone or whatever, or like even older generations than that, where iPhones are just so easy for them to use, or any other Apple product.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I think Microsoft and Google have both made a lot of what's that term? They've made a lot of progress towards making Android and Windows, like respectively, a lot easier to use and more for the consumer versus the power user. Like I've been an Android user since the original Verizon Droid came out. Before that, I had an iPod Mini, an iPod Classic, and then an iPod Touch, because Apple was making the best devices for like MP3 players and stuff like that at that time.
Yeah.
You had like those SanDisk players that held like 100 songs or something like that too, but those failed in comparison to what Apple was making at the time.
I have a Zune sitting in my truck.
Oh, I forgot about.
I have a Zune.
Okay.
Like the Zune HD.
There was Zune. Okay, that's fair. But when Android came out and it was the thing I learned about, it was something different and new that I was like, all right, I think I want to jump on board with this. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and so I got the Verizon Droid. That was my first smartphone, and since then I've been with Android, and that was like the early days. Like there wasn't pinch to zoom or anything in there. There was a browser, and it was very early on. And since then I've been with Android. From the Verizon Droid, I think I got the HTC Thunderbolt, which was the first 4G phone on Verizon, which like blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind. And then I got the Note 2, Samsung Note 2, and then the HTC M9, and now I'm on a Google Pixel XL. It's so like all the thing. I'll make an argument here. All the things that you love about the Apple ecosystem, and what most people love, I don't want to single you out. Most of the things people love about the Apple ecosystem also exist in the Android ecosystem, but I think it is a bit more convoluted because Samsung has their version of it, HTC has their version of it, LG has their own version of it, and then and so like being able to, if you wanted to show a movie on your TV with your phone, you can probably do it through Apple TV, I'm assuming, and sort of cast it that way.
Well, like any movie, if I buy a movie and it's hooked up to my account, where if I, like literally, I got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I downloaded the code onto my phone and redeemed the code. It was immediately on my Apple TV.
Yeah.
And ready to play.
Well, Google has the Chromecast device, which I think a lot of people have heard of by now. It's basically an Apple TV. You can stream stuff to your TV that has a Chromecast plugged into it with your phone, and you can control what is watched on that with your phone. And you can beam YouTube videos to your TV. Works just as good, but I think... Sorry, go ahead.
You have a Google phone though, right?
Yep.
So like, how easy is it with your Google phone as opposed to like a Samsung phone?
Exactly the same.
Is it?
Exactly the same.
Okay.
But it's a matter of people kind of overcoming those manufacturer barriers.
Right.
And realizing that they're all kind of Android.
We're good. Just check.
Sorry, we're checking the audio a lot now because it keeps cutting out on us.
I'll look over. I'll say something.
Okay.
If I see something. So.
If you see something, say something. It's like, and I think so. Since I started being with Android, I've been with third-party manufacturers, which have been HTC, Samsung. And then
this is your first
Motorola.
Google. This is like your first Google phone.
And then recently Google has started their own line of Android phones called, which is the Pixel line.
Right.
And it is like pure, unadulterated Android. It is how Google wants it to be. Google made Android, for those of you who don't know. So the Pixel phone is exactly how Google envisions Android. Samsung and HTC and Motorola and LG, they all get to do whatever they want with Android because it's open source, it's customizable. If they want to load in all their apps, they can do that. And so I think, I sort of feel like Google is late to the game because they could have done this a long time ago and had sort of an iPhone-like experience with Android, where Google makes the only devices. It is how they see fit, and there's that ecosystem that is only Android. But now, like, you even see like stupid ads on Facebook that are like trying to that say like you can win a phone, or even comments by people where when they're arguing iPhone versus Android, they don't say iPhone versus Android. They say something like iPhone versus Samsung.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're all Android phones.
Right.
And so, like, it's kind of annoying on my part because I know how all this stuff works. But, so, with all that, like, what is possibly another reason Apple has sort of conquered that space of, like, the cult?
I have an idea about that.
Okay.
But we'll finish that after the next beer.
Okay. All right, Mike. Are we ready for the last beer?
Yes,
sir. And what segment or what name does this segment have?
Oh, it's always last but not yeast.
Yes. Last but not yeast. It is another sour beer. We've done a lot of sours tonight, so we
Yeah.
sort of broke it up with those breakfast stouts. Now we're back to a sour. We're ending with the...
It's called Sour Bikini from Evil Twin Brewing, which we've had Evil Twin here before. Distributed by Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
3% alcohol by volume, so we're finishing
3%.
Let's see if
That's
there's
good.
a description on
We'll
here.
definitely be able to drive home to
It's
this.
a sour pale ale, named after Atom Bomb Test Grounds, designed by
Interesting.
French car engineer. The Bikini was too many a distributing and degrading creation, and fortunately for others, a symbol of emancipation.
Okay.
This attractive, light-bodied, seductive... This attractively light-bodied, seductively well-balanced, and very drinkable sour bikini is anything but a sissy beer.
Who's the brewery again?
It's Evil Twin Brewing.
Yeah. Would you call them one of our favorites by now? I
Yes
think
and
I
no. I like a
Really?
lot of what Evil Twin does.
I think so. Yeah.
I think Evil
I
Twin
think I
was
would.
made the double
double
fudge.
chocolate. Double
Yeah.
fudge chocolate that absolutely ruined you that one night.
Ooh. I think this is just a sour ale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be pretty basic, but
Ooh. Smells hoppy.
ooh, really?
A little bit.
Maybe this is the basic one. Oh yeah. Definitely smelling that. Let's get this out of the way.
Yes, sir. Ooh.
Ooh. Is there a surprise in there? Sour bikini.
It's not bad. It's got kind of like a fruitiness to it.
Yeah. It smells hoppy. It doesn't taste hoppy at all.
That's pretty solid. So, no, well, let's talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
It's light. It's refreshing.
Yeah. I'm
and it's
not expecting that.
It's
Although-
a little hoppy.
Mhm.
It's kind of fruity. You get a little bit in the back from the sourness.
Yeah.
I would say that this is pretty generic though.
Mm-hmm.
Like
There's not much to it.
It-
But
yes, but
still
sometimes simple is good.
yeah. Not
Sometimes
in a bad
you
way
just
at all.
want something simple.
Mm-hmm. Now, this being 3%, this is probably the lowest alcohol content beer by Evil Twin Brewing.
Right, right.
They're typically like
The
9% and up.
double fudge that I had was like
12.
12%, and it was a 20 ounce.
I can't believe you drank that. Oh, that was such a fun.
And then I wanted
That was so
another.
fun.
I wanted another beer after
Yeah.
it.
Oh boy.
Okay.
All right, Michael.
This
What
is
is
tasty.
this? It is tasty. It's very good. What is this grand idea? Why you think
so
Michael?
the
or
reason-
Apple has accomplished this cult following?
So I feel like the reason why Apple has this sort of following to it is because they have one product, not one product, but it's their product with their operating system, no
Yeah.
matter what,
Yeah, that's probably it.
and
I
it's
was gonna get to
consistent. It,
Yeah.
like all the way across, it's very consistent.
Mhm.
So like you open up your phone, you're used to using your phone. You pick up an iPad, it's the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then like
something like the Apple TV is very easy to pick up from there, and then you have your iPod, which is the same.
The design
exact
is
layout.
the same across all
Every
devices.
I think every device has the exact same layout, and I feel like since it's them making the products and them making the operating system, that's how they're getting all of this.
Yeah.
So
I
you
agree.
said with the Google thing, if Google had started their phone with the operating system and then they had the Chromecast and everything else like that, they would be on par with Apple right now, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's the design, how everything is this aluminum silver design, except
Well, my
for
phone's
some
black.
of the iPhones, yeah. But
Well, you can get a lot of different colors now on all the
Yeah.
devices.
It's also a status symbol, like how. That's probably
Right.
another discussion, but
Right.
how every college student wants a Mac laptop.
Right.
And there's something to be said about when if you're a college student and you're in the cafeteria, another kid walks in and you see them open up a Mac laptop with the Apple logo on the back that's lit up. There's
Well, the
something
thing-
about that.
The thing about the Mac laptops is that they're expensive.
Yeah.
So when you see a college student have it, it's like this sense of I don't know, that kid was able to get this $1,000
Yeah.
laptop. Because that's sort of the low end price of it is $800 to $1,000.
Yeah.
And that's if they didn't that's buying brand new.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't exactly mind having a Mac laptop because mainly because of the sense of I don't use my laptop that often.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the operating system would bother me a little bit, mainly because I'm super used to
To PCs.
PCs and having a Windows.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't mind. I not necessarily wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't mind having a Mac, mainly because I know that they'll last a little bit.
Mhm.
I've had this Asus for a long time, but you can tell that it's, almost a year after I got it, it started to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
But that's also the personal experience I've had with this specific Asus.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that your Asus is gonna slow down after a year, because it probably won't. Yeah, but
Right.
that's my specific problem with this Asus that I have.
Yeah. Now, do you think it could be something? Android and Windows both share something in common. It is very good. It's an operating system that shares multiple manufacturers. And you made the point that Apple makes their hardware and their software. I think that is definitely part of it. I think when it comes to Windows and Androids, the manufacturer space is sort of so saturated that you can't have a brand loyalty. You can buy an Asus computer, or an Acer computer, or a Dell computer, or there's hundreds of them probably some we haven't even heard of that make PCs. Alienware.
Right.
And so brand loyalty isn't as much of a thing when there are so many options. With Apple, your only
Exactly.
option is Apple, and so brand loyalty becomes such an easy thing probably for them.
And that could also play into, how many people are buying a Chromebook as opposed to an Apple laptop,
Yeah.
an iMac.
Yeah, probably.
Because there's so many other options for having that operating system. And, also Apple, they know the hardware at that point, too. So, some people build, their computers and then put, a Mac software on it where...
Hackintosh.
A Hackintosh, that's what it is.
I'd love to make one of those.
Yeah, but, also, you need to have specific hardware to do a Hackintosh.
Yep, you do.
Because the software is built specifically for that hardware.
Yep.
And I feel like that makes it almost a little better in a sense. But because I'm still very pro Windows operating system, but in that sense of the software is built for the hardware,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little better.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally fair. Okay, I think we got to the bottom of it. We've solved the issue. Everyone should reference this podcast if they ever want to know anything about Apple. Might as well be Wikipedia. So that is the end of my topic. Next, we are going to bring you our recommendations. Alright, everyone, now comes the time in the show where we give you a recommendation for a beer we absolutely love. Mike, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So, we were at Now and Later on Friday, and this beer that I saw was called Bump and Rind. So I was immediately like, I gotta get that beer.
Naming is important.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It is. So I get this beer. It's from Boulder Beer,
Okay.
which is from Boulder, Colorado. And
Makes sense.
Right. And it's called Bump and Rind, and it's a watermelon type ale. Let me pull it up so I can.
Okay. Yeah, I pulled mine up here
I'm
so I
pretty
can
sure
give an
it's just-
accurate description of it.
It's just a watermelon ale. Oh no, it was a watermelon kolsch.
Yeah, okay, I don't know what that means. I meant to
I don't know
ask
what
our
that means
bartender, Mo, there, but
Yep.
never got to it.
Get your groove on with Bump and Rind.
Of course.
But it was like, I don't know, you didn't like it, but
I've had better. I didn't not like it, but I've had better watermelon beers.
Like,
I'd probably rank that as like the worst watermelon.
well,
beer.
like there's the Hell or High watermelon.
by
and
21st Amendment. That's probably
21st
my
Amendment.
favorite. I think.
I can't remember what that other watermelon was that I have, but I had oh man, I can see the can so well right now. It's called Green Zebra,
Yeah. Okay.
and that
we
was
both
the
had.
watermelon sour
Yep, that one was
that I
fantastic.
had the time before. We're Now and Later. That was very good.
Yep.
But this was just like, I don't know, maybe it was the week I had where it was just I was outside all the time and it was just hot, and it was like I just want something light.
Right.
So I got that, and it was like perfect because I really like the taste of watermelon. Like I personally, I really love the taste of watermelon. That was pretty
Oh, yeah,
watermelon-y.
Yep.
And
But it was like definitely sort of a bitter watermelon, right?
I
Like,
never
would you
got
say
that.
it
I
was?
never got that. It just tasted really light and
Okay.
watermelon-y to me.
I did not get that. Man, we must have really different taste buds.
Oh man.
Because like Hell or High watermelon, I like is really watermelon-y. I'm making up words.
Well,
Very like super refreshing, but I felt like the one you had was watermelon-y, but like a little bitter, not so refreshing. And I think like the essence of watermelon is refreshing.
yeah.
And like I would not want to have a watermelon beer that's not refreshing. Like
Right,
who would
right.
want to have a heavy watermelon beer? And I felt
Well,
like
exactly.
that's what that was.
Really?
Yeah, I really
Oh, I
did.
thought that was super light and refreshing.
Not to me.
But anyways, that's my recommendation.
Okay.
It's that Bump and Rind watermelon kolsch
Okay.
from Boulder Brewing Company.
Mine is the Mexus Ranger by McKellar. McKellar makes it. It is, to this day, the most complicated beer I've ever had. The most complex beer I've ever had. And I have had hundreds of different beers.
Have I had that?
Oh, yeah. I've gotten it multiple times. Usually when we go to Now and Later, we do not get the same thing twice. But this
You
is...
said that one, yeah.
This one, on multiple occasions, I've probably had this like 5 different times. If I can't decide on something, this is sort of my go-to. It's something I always have. It is an ale brewed with spices, almond milk, cocoa, chili, black beans, and
That's right.
avocado
Yep.
leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't hear this in your mouth, if your mouth doesn't start watering when you hear that, then you're dead to me. Because, like,
There's a lot going on there.
everything in there, you can pick out each taste individually.
You could.
But it also goes together so well. The cocoa tastes great. It is not overpowering. The black beans, you might think like black beans are only good in a burrito, but like no, like black beans are the taste of black beans works with everything in this beer.
Right.
It is just fantastic. It is a little heavy, so it might be more like a winter beer. Not something you want to drink on a hot summer day, but it is something I will always go back to. It's something I'm always impressed and blown away by. It's McKellar Mexus Ranger. That is my recommendation.
With that bump and rind that I had, the only reason why, like, because I really wanted that green zebra again, but the only reason why I got it was because of the name. Like, it was like, so like the green zebra was here, it was down and to the right of it. Like, it was like right next to it practically.
Well, the only reason you got the that brown ale from the last episode was for the can design. So
Right.
naming and can design and bottle design,
It matters a little bit.
it matters.
But
it does. It definitely
Again,
does.
that's the
It'll catch your eye
but
for
like
sure.
again, like the I feel like that was like the perfect level of watermelon taste. But that's just me.
Okay.
Like again, you disagree, but
All right.
I agree with everything on yours. Like I think that beer was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, it was solid.
All right, listeners, that brings us to the end of episode 2 of the Wish You Were Beer podcast. Thank you for joining us. We've had a lot of fun, even with the technical issues. This episode
Oh
has
my
taken us
God.
like something crazy, like 3 hours to record.
Yeah.
Um,
But
My
like
watch is dead.
even past the technical issues, like
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like this is gonna be better looking and better sounding.
Yep, we added
Then
studio
podcast
lights. We've tried to get the audio to be better. We'll see what happens with that when I edit it. But yeah, had a great time as always.
Right. And you could always follow us on all of our social medias. We're at WYWB podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
Facebook
And-
is facebook.com/Wish You Were Beer podcast, I believe.
I'm sure you can just search it on Facebook. Wish You Were
Yeah,
Beer
just
podcast.
give us a search on any of those platforms. Just give "Wish You Were Beer" podcast a search. You'll find us. The username is typically WYW Beer podcast. Wish You Were Beer podcast. And if you would like to write into the show to help start our new Q&A segment, you can send us a message on Instagram, Twitter. You can leave a comment on our YouTube video.
You can message us on Facebook.
Message us on Facebook,
Yep.
or send an email to wishyouwerebeerpodcast@gmail.com.
Right.
Mike?
And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube videos.
That would be awesome.
Yep.
Get alerted for every episode we post.
And we will be posting every Wednesday morning.
We said Tuesday night before, but just between editing and uploading and
Yeah, even if I can export it quick or edit it quick, exporting takes a couple hours and then uploading takes an hour. So
Right.
I'd rather do it overnight and post Wednesday morning. No biggie.
yeah, we'll just post Wednesday mornings. We'll still record Monday nights, and
Yep.
again, you'll see on our Instagram page we'll have a picture of all the cans and
Yep.
Bottles of whatever we have. We have
Yeah.
all
We
cans
have to
today.
do. All cans, yep.
Yep.
I feel like it's moving towards cans. What do you think? I'm seeing way more cans.
I'm seeing a
Lately.
lot of cans.
Yeah.
Last time we did it, last podcast, I think I had only 2 bottles.
Yeah. I
Did
think
you-
I think everyone started using bottles because it maybe looked better or something, but cans are like
I
impervious
think
to
the bottles hold the
light and things like that.
Well, like depends on the color of the bottle too.
Okay.
Like a lighter bottle doesn't hold the coldness as well as a darker bottle.
Okay.
I
I think I read something about breweries moving the cans too.
don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
You know, we'll find that out when we,
Mhm.
you know, are eventually on this podcast and every beer's
Yeah.
a can.
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and keep
Remember to
drinking.
drink some weird beer.
Yeah.
Go outside your comfort zone. Drink some weird beer. Drink some cool stuff. Don't go to a bar and order a Budweiser. Ask the bartenders typically know what they're doing. Ask the bartender what the weirdest beer they have is. I'm sure you'll be surprised.
like-
That's how we got our start trying all this weird stuff.
Well, I feel like we were very fortunate to have like Now and Later around.
Yeah.
Where it's a bar that has nothing but craft beers.
Yes.
So go find a bar in your area that has a whole bunch of craft beers.
there
Don't
has
go
to be one.
Don't go to like your local random bar that college kids go to that everybody gets, you know, Bud Light and Budweiser and Guinness and stuff like that.
Yeah. Just try harder.
Right. But, you know, I'm sure there's a bar around
gotta
that
be.
has craft beers. You know, you can find it. And
Every city has one.
I'm sure in your local town you have a brewery there. Go visit the brewery and see what they got.
Yeah, breweries since the 1990s have increased by like 3,000% or something. So like, there's got to be one near you. Even here in Syracuse,
Well, like
we
every
have
can we get, we're
4 or
like
5.
yeah, every can we get or every bottle we get, there's always a place that we've never seen
Yes.
before.
Oh yeah, easily.
So I'm sure there's one in.
We're
your
always
area.
surprised. Check your state laws too. We're really getting into it right now, but check your state laws too. You might be able to order beer online and get some pretty weird stuff online. These things we taste, usually these breweries sell their beer online, but
Right.
unfortunately, the alcohol mailing laws differ from state to state. So check if like your state allows beer being mailed. So.
All right. Well,
All right,
anyways,
Michael.
go out there and try some weird beers.
Yes. Good night, listeners. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night, everybody.